Joining us right now on the Daily Dose, we are bringing back some friends of the Dose, and we are going to check in on the 2023 NFL season that has been completely unpredictable as usual. First up, we have Mike from Castle Rock joining us from out on the plains. Welcome back to Mike.
These are mountains; those are not plains. And
you got a little plain in front of those mountains.
Yeah, whatever. But no, we as soon as we finish the preseason recap, I was looking forward to this one to see how goofy our predictions were. So it's going to be a fun night.
Our predictions are precise and accurate as usual. We also have the savvy veteran, kind of adopted Utah U, and of course, Denver Bronco fan. Larry from Centennial is joining us as well. Larry, thanks for stopping by.
Good to be here, Clint. Good to be with everybody again. This gotta love the reset. It's needed. So always appreciate this time of year when I get a chance to totally scrap everything and start over.
We get to make some slight minor adjustments. That is all. Finally, we have Big Rob, our Daily Dose I-Team president, who was just here last week doing our college football midseason report. Rob is a West Virginia Mountaineer and a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He is feeling pretty good about that. Rob, you're doing double duty these days. Thank you for joining us last week, and thank you for stopping back by again this week.
Absolutely. It's good to be here. I can't believe we're already halfway through, but looking forward to this.
You know, I struggle because are we happy? Like, days are good right now. Life is good right now. Saturdays are packed. Sundays are packed. Now we even have like some college hoop. We have some NBA. We have some NHL. Life is good, but it's halfway over. And that makes me very, very sad. I'm going to stay in the here and the now. I'm not going to go into the future. I'm just going to stay right here now. Gentlemen, the 2023 NFL season is now, like I said, at about the halfway point. And we have seen surprises. We have seen some disappointments. We have seen some coaches do some truly stupid things. We have seen one thing pretty consistently, though. Scoring is down. Games are averaging around 43 points per game total. And I think one very good reason is the lack thereof, of the quarterback. For all of the talent we see, they are bigger, they are stronger, they are faster than ever before. They throw no-look passes. They can run like the wind. You can't touch them or their receivers. And yet, they aren't always very good at playing quarterback. And I'm not just talking about the below-average guys. We have those every year. It's league-wide. Last week, Tua Tagovailoa faced Patrick Mahomes in what we thought was going to be a shootout. And then each of them threw for less than 200 yards. Josh Allen has struggled. So is Geno Smith at times. Justin Herbert at times. Larry, is this a case of defenses catching up? Or is this a result of maybe not enough practice time? Or is this generation just a bunch of soft, whiny, entitled babies that know nothing of quarterbacking like they did back in our day?
Well, if there's anybody to ask about quarterback play, it's me. So
yes, exactly. That's why I went to you.
Yeah. No, I think the best athlete, a lot of the best athletes on the field are the quarterback, right? They've proven and a lot of them are young, and I think we're seeing some good quarterbacks. But are they great quarterbacks? No, probably not. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I think Mahomes is a great quarterback. He's proved it, but he's also done it a lot with his being able to improvise, right? Not your classic quarterback type stuff. And I think the league is moving towards that more mobile, fly by the seat of your pants guy, where, let's face it, these guys got to get rid of the ball within 2 seconds. And if they don't, they're going to get sacked. So they're getting, they got to be able to move and run out of the pocket. But I don't think it really reflects in what we consider great quarterback play, right?
Yeah, and I do wonder if, the lack of practice, I know they've backed off what they can do, the lack of offensive linemen being able to interact and hit and those kind of things, I do think that slows the process down. A lot of these guys, it feels like they're kind of learning these spread offenses in college, and then they're like, okay, well, just do that stuff. Well, it's great when it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, though, and sometimes defenses do catch up. Another trend that we are seeing that also displays the wussification of the NFL is the fact that if there is a bad injury, the TV stations won't always show it again. Look, I get it. Larry is squeamish, but I don't understand why certain injuries, like we were allowed to see Aaron Rodgers' Achilles roll up his leg. That's fine. But a headshot, they don't show us. And sometimes we literally don't know what happened. They'll be like, there's a bad injury. There's a big collision. We're not going to show it. I'm not asking for like gratuitous angles, but sometimes we don't even know what happened. Rob, at what point is the NFL just going to ban touching each other completely?
It's it's a strange spot they're in. Like you said, they do cut away, feels like a lot faster than they used to. Maybe that's part of just, media nowadays where you can get on YouTube, Twitter, and all those things and see it for yourself. So maybe that's the reason behind it. But again, I mean, like you said, it's still nice to see exactly what happened, maybe a couple different angles, but, just the one and done is, isn't great, I don't think, personally.
Yeah, I don't either. And like, I know we come from an era that we saw Joe Theismann's leg, explode. And I don't want to see over and over. But sometimes I literally don't know what happened. There's a hit and they're like, there's a bad hit. We're not going to show it. You're not hiding like a guy that shot up a school. You're hiding an injury. How come some injuries are showable and some injuries are not? That's where I struggle. Mike, it seems like we are seeing this every year. But speaking of these same things, the officiating, once again, is just inconsistent. It's not very good. The refs seem to be unsure what to call. And so we're seeing a lot of throwing flags and then pick them back up, which is weird to me. They'll look at the replay. They'll overrule calls after reviewing them for like 10 full minutes. And then they'll say the evidence was indisputable. Then why'd you look at it for 10 minutes? I'm not sure they understand what indisputable means. Can't we fix the officiating somehow? There has to be a better way to do this, Mike.
There's always going to be the human element in it. So no,
Sure.
it is your answer. So are there going to be missed calls? Are there going to be bad calls? There's always judgment calls. Of course, it's just how it is in the NFL. But if you widen your view, I think the NFL is above average as far as the quality of officiating when you compare it to the other major sports.
Probably so.
I mean, we all know how horrible the NBA officiating is.
Yeah.
So much talk this year about how bad the Major League Baseball officiating, umpiring has been. So, I mean, there's going to be some bad calls, possibly some missed calls. I think the NFL is doing a pretty good job of trying to get it right or giving them the tools to get it right. But I don't know how you improve it from what it is with the human element and so much of it being judgment calls and the speed of the game.
Yeah,
it's never going to be perfect.
All right, Mike, I hate to bring this up, but I'm going to anyways. Why is it the refs consistently favor the Kansas City Chiefs on every single call? They get do-overs. The refs give calls that don't even make any sense. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but there are times I watch the Chiefs and I go, they're ruling what? It doesn't even, what is going on? What is happening? Do they just want the Chiefs to be good? Are they just biased? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. They have had part of it, I think, is it seems like almost every game they're involved in is a big game, right?
When
playing the defending Super Bowl champs,
sure,
that's the other team's shot at the champs, right? So I think a lot of things get magnified. Have they had some things go their way? Absolutely. I mean, I think last year may have been worse than what we've seen this year, but
they got a do-over in a playoff game.
That was remarkable. I don't understand that
in my life. I've never seen it.
No.
And I'm not even going to start with Rob's Super Bowl. I'm not even going to go down that path. Okay. Speaking of the Chiefs, we have all been subjected to having to see them every week for reasons other than football. And that, of course, is the big love affair between Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and pop star Taylor Swift. We're all being forced to watch this 6 at best, cheering like she has any idea what's going on and celebrating with Mahomes' wife, Brittany, as though they don't really want to prison shank each other, because we know full well that they do. Larry, you're a Swiftie. Why must we be forced to watch this garbage every week? It makes me nauseous.
Well, I think part of it is because at times it's the most exciting thing going on during the game.
Maybe so. Maybe that's
Right?
what it is.
No, here's the deal, right? Of course, the NFL is going to do whatever it can to reach as many people. Taylor Swift has appeal. They're going to promote it. They're going to advertise it. They're just being smart, right? Does it make the rest of us want to throw up? Yeah, a lot. It does. You know, kind of like all the KC guys and all the commercials too. But you know, that's just how it works. We get to live with their success.
I think it's cool that Travis Kelce can score sixes on and off the field. Now, as we do many times when we have our illustrious panel join us, we're going to play a very quick game of trivia. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be quick. We've got things to do. We can't just clown around here all day. We're going to play some very, very quick trivia. I am going to give each member of our panel a title of a song. You're going to say whether or not it is a song that has been recorded by Taylor Swift. Are we ready?
Is this whoever's fastest buzzing in?
No, I'm going to give each one of you your own song. You tell me Swiftie or no Swiftie. We got to find out.
I'm just going to wave the white flag right now and surrender.
Mike, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Yep. Okay, Mike, you're up first, in fact.
That's great.
Your song title is You Need to Calm Down. Is that a Taylor Swift song or no? You need to calm down. That actually is a Taylor Swift song. You need to calm down, which is crazy because she's up in the box acting a fool. She needs to calm down. Okay. Mike is 0 for 1. He missed that one. Well, I'm only doing one. So
I've got several nieces that are ashamed of me right now.
They're going to be mad at you. You're not getting anything this Christmas. All right, Rob, you're up next. Your song title is Kansas Boy. Does Taylor Swift have a song called Kansas Boy?
Feels like a trick. I'm gonna say no. No.
Good call. Good call. It is actually London Boy. It is London Boy. You were able to sniff that one out. Well done.
Well,
Rob.
wait. Would he have Rob? Would you have known if he would have said London Boy?
No.
He had no idea. He had no idea. I teed one up. Okay, I know.
Trick questions.
It's not easy.
Hey,
this isn't. Again, I've said it before. I don't bring in chumps to do this show. I bring in ringers that come in and they know their stuff. Larry, you have the final one. You got to get this again.
I'm just saying yes.
Your song title is Jackson, Stop Staring at Me.
I'm going to say yes.
No, that's actually not. but well played. Rob is the winner. Rob wins the Taylor Swift trivia contest. Well done. Well played by everyone, though. I would say everyone's a winner, but let's be honest, we're all losers. Okay. Yeah. I want to jump into each division, and I want to see if we can pick out a pleasant surprise as well as a disappointment from each division. Trust me, it will not be easy, but we're going to do our best. Let's start off in the AFC East, where we expected the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and maybe the New York Jets to be playoff contenders. There's just one problem for each of these teams. Bills quarterback Josh Allen at times is an idiot. Miami hasn't beaten a good team since like the 70s, and the Jets are the Jets. Mike, do you have a pleasant surprise in the AFC East?
A pleasant surprise? No.
Yes, pleasant. We only want pleasant.
No. Well, okay. Yeah. The Patriots suck.
Well,
I don't remember, but I think I may have recalled one of our esteemed panel members having them as a wild card, but I picked them to be bad, but not this bad.
Not this bad.
That is Mac Jones is a disaster.
Holy cow, he got benched on Sunday.
It is bad. So that's a pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah, my surprise was that Tua hasn't been injured yet. So that was a pleasant surprise for me. I fully expected him to be injured by now. You bring a good point up. I don't know that they really have a pleasant surprise. I think in a lot of ways, the AFC East has maybe underachieved just a little bit. Does anybody have a good, pleasant surprise for the AFC East? let's move on to disappointment then. Mike, your disappointment for the AFC East. What do you got?
For all the, obviously the Aaron Rodgers injury, whether it's a disappointment or not, it leaves a lot of questions, right? With the what if. They're right there. They're middle of the pack. They're playing 500 ball because the defense is very good. The offense is horrid. So, that might be a bit of a what if there. Miami beats up on Division I AA college teams and can't beat a good team.
Correct.
I don't know. This division is weird. We'll
weird.
see what happens. My God, if Aaron Rodgers can come back during the season, what's going to happen? I don't know. That's a weird division.
They could get on a run if he did. I don't know if that's possible. That is so weird. He has come back so fast. I actually talked to an orthopedic surgeon on the show a few weeks back. He said there is a surgery that they can do that you can come back quicker. It depends on the bone that you have to work with. He said it is possible. That just seems insane to me, because what have we been doing all these years when guys have Achilles? They're just like, oh, it's a year. So that's a little bit odd. Anybody else have a specific disappointment from that AFC East they'd like to name? All right, then I'm going to throw one out, and that is Josh Allen. Why is he not better? We keep thinking he's going to be the next John Elway. He doesn't look like that. He doesn't look like he forces. He tries too hard. He'll try to force a play in like the first quarter. You're like, dude, why are you lowering your shoulder and hitting a defensive tackle in the first quarter? I get it when the game's on the line, but Josh Allen to me is a little bit of a disappointment. The Bills are a little bit of a disappointment to me right now. AFC East is a little bit weird. And I know, like you said at the top, we had looked at maybe 3 teams getting in right now. I'm feeling way less sure about that. I'm feeling 1 and maybe 2 right now, and I'm not for sure which ones they're going to be. Let's move over to the NFC East, who sent 3 teams to the postseason last year. They sent the Eagles, the Giants, and the Cowboys all to the playoffs. I think we expected all 3 to battle for a playoff spot again this year, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. The Eagles are dominating. The Cowboys are doing what they do every year, but the Giants and Commanders are a little tough to figure out. Rob, do you have a surprise in the NFC East?
It's not a homer pick, but I'm going to say the Eagles for sure.
I would agree.
Kind of picked up where they left off. And I don't feel like they've played a complete game. They've been in control, but I think, started off early. The passing wasn't really going, the running. So they haven't really put it all together yet. And, they've only got 1 loss so far. So that's the biggest surprise for me.
That's a surprise for me. It is so hard for teams to come off of a Super Bowl loss, to come back stronger, to come back better. They seem like they're kind of figuring things out. They've had some injuries. They've overcome those. To be where they're at, 8-1 the bye week. Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. I didn't think it would be that strong. I thought they'd be good. They still look like they're very, very dominant. They might be the class of the NFC. Rob, do you have a disappointment in the NFC East?
Yeah, the disappointment is the Giants.
For sure.
Not that I'm a fan or anything, but
right,
just as bad as they are. Possibly the worst team in the NFL. And
they're there.
There seems like there's enough talent there. Again, not that they would be great, but they're not even competing. Some of their losses, double digits, easy, 20 points. So as they're being as bad as they are is just kind of disappointing to me.
Yeah. And I think we even talked in the preseason saying they could take a step back, not fall off a cliff, step back. Holy cow. Remember, the Brian Dayball's the right guy. They got the right guy. They hit the lottery with him, and he's going to make Daniel Jones. Okay, maybe that was just a 1-year fluke, and maybe that's the benefit of playing that that soft schedule. I don't know, but the Giants look really, really bad. Anybody else got a surprise or disappointment they would like to bring to the table while we are here? NFC East, we've covered it.
I think a little surprise is the play of Sam Howell.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know that we expected a lot, but he hasn't been bad.
Yeah, I think he's playing over his head, possibly, or maybe he's really that good. I don't know. It's not translating into wins, but he's really playing well. But going back to that Giants team, my God, that offensive line is horrible. It's a wonder it took so long for Daniel Jones to get injury, although it was a non-contact injury. But that's a bad situation there.
Well, and speaking of getting sacked, Sam Howell might die. He's having a great year and he's playing really well. He's getting sacked. He's on pace to have the most sacks ever, beating David Carr. And the only thing standing in his way is if he gets hurt and can't finish and can't break the record, because otherwise he's on track. What he's doing in that situation is actually pretty remarkable. Yeah, I'd put Sam Howell in there and at least give him a nod. We arrive at the AFC North, which is also a really tough division to figure, because we expected the Bengals, we expected the Ravens to be pretty good. And then Cincinnati started slow. They started to warm up. Then Sunday happened. The Ravens are very good. Then Sunday happened. The Browns, the Steelers, they're scrappy. Larry, do you have a surprise in the AFC North?
Yeah, I think I'm surprised at the inconsistency of Baltimore. I thought they'd show better week over week. Now, I think they're good, and I think they'll, maybe it's just going to take them a little bit of time, but it seems like they've been in more close games than they really want to be in. So I'm a little surprised at that, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm definitely surprised at, if you look at the division, that it's shaping up, to look like more wins than I would have thought those teams would have. So I'm surprised by that for sure.
Okay, fair enough. You got a disappointment for us in the AFC
Cincinnati.
North?
Yeah, Cincinnati looks, at times pathetic, right? And
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, at the beginning of the season, they were talking about, they haven't fixed the offensive line yet. So maybe that is still a problem. Burrow maybe wasn't, 100% healthy.
For sure.
But yeah, I think that they're getting to the point where they better start figuring things out, or they are going to be the division doormat, right?
Yeah, and right now they're in dead last, which I don't think anyone expected. Anybody else got a surprise or a disappointment in the AFC North?
Well, I don't know if it's a surprise or disappointment, but the fact that halfway through the season, or at this point, the basement team is still above 500. That's a competitive division. I mean,
really tight.
I don't see a change in the rest of the way. They're going to beat each other up. I mean, Cleveland just surprised Baltimore. I don't know. That is a very intriguing division. I think we may have expected that in one other division or two, but not necessarily that one. Pittsburgh is limping along with a negative point differential at this point. It's just, I don't know. It's intriguing. That's what we love about football, because all that matters is the wins and losses.
You're right. Yeah, because Pittsburgh was the team that I would name as kind of a surprise. I didn't expect them to be quite this good. And like you said, I don't know if they're good.
Right.
They might not be good. They have a winning record. They're a few games over 500. They come up with wins, but they come up with wins sometimes against bad teams. Pickett, I'm not sure is good at all. No. They were looking at benching him earlier this year. Yeah, this is a weird division. Rob, you got anything in the AFC North for us?
No, I agree with everyone else. Just the fact that all the teams are as good as they are could maybe all sneak into the playoffs, probably 3 out of 4. But just the division as a whole being that good was surprising to me.
What is our take on Deshaun Watson? Sometimes he plays. Sometimes he's okay. Sometimes he's horrible. And sometimes he just is like, I'm not playing this week. I'm confused. I don't understand what is going on with Deshaun.
Yeah, I'm not either. I think it's good. It's good that we got the second half of the season. Maybe that, he can show us what he actually is.
Yeah.
Because we don't know yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because there are times that it sounds like he's a healthy scratch. I don't even understand how that works exactly. I try to convince my job that I'm a healthy scratch every day, and they don't fall for it. We move to the NFC North. That, again, has been kind of weird this year. The Vikings were considered a contender. The Lions were a contender. But this division is strange. The Lions look to be the top team. The Vikings lost Kirk Cousins. I don't know. They might be better without him with Josh Dobbs. The Packers look terrible. The Bears are worse. Mike, do you have a surprise in the NFC North?
Not really. I mean, honestly, this is kind of how I expected the division to go, with the exception of Detroit is probably exceeding where I thought they'd be.
Right.
I love their game. I love the way they're playing. I love the coach. I love their enthusiasm. It's going to be interesting to see if Minnesota can hold on. I think they're a game and a half back right now. I think Detroit probably runs away with the division, and Minnesota is probably going to struggle for a wild card. With the big injuries they've had, lots of big injuries in the NFL this year.
Yeah, there have been a ton of injuries. What about a disappointment? You got a disappointment in the NFC North? A team that stands out to you, or someone?
No, I expected Chicago to be where they
Yeah.
are. I think Green Bay may be a little worse than I thought. Jordan Love is who we kind of thought they were.
Yeah.
Or thought he was. Nothing out of the ordinary for what was expected, what was anticipated.
I'm going to give a surprise, and I'm going to give it to Josh Dobbs because he was winning, or at least competing, at Arizona. He's won a few games with the Vikings. More importantly, is Josh Dobbs the adult version of Lil Bill the cartoon? I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible because there are some disturbing similarities there. I'm just saying it's possible. But the Vikings, I thought would be
a resemblance to Caillou there too. So
is it Caillou?
Yeah,
I can't stand Caillou. I hate that kid. Big crybaby, always whining about everything. Anybody else got a pleasant surprise or a bitter disappointment in the NFC North? No, you guys are nice. Because I'm going to give the Lions a surprise, and Mike touched on it earlier. I'm going to give them a surprise. Not that we didn't expect them. I never expect anything from the Lions. I just expect them to suck every single year without fail. No questions asked. They're going to be terrible. Oh, they're going to be better this year. Okay. They weren't better with Barry. They weren't better with Billy. They weren't better with Megatron. They're never better. They're a little bit better than I expected. Well done at restoring the roar. I'm going to give them a little bit of a surprise. I will give Justin Fields a little bit of a disappointment, though. I didn't expect big things. I expected to see him show some growth, and I don't know if I'm seeing growth at all. And maybe that's the franchise. Maybe it just doesn't matter. Chicago can't have quarterbacks. We know that. But I thought I'd see something, and I don't know if I see anything from Justin Fields, so maybe that's my disappointment. All right. We are going next to the AFC South. That maybe it's been a little better than I expected. I don't know that any of these teams are a true contender, but they're not as bad as we thought, and they're kind of feisty. Rob, do you have a surprise in the AFC South?
Yeah, this is the easy one. Houston Texans. By far. Like I said, I think we talked about it beginning of the season. They had young talent pieces there. We like the coaching hire. But yeah, for them to be, as good as they are, competitive in games thus far is the biggest surprise for me.
Well, and CJ Stroud, hey, Ohio State quarterbacks are never good. Ever. And he's kind of proving that wrong. He looks like he might be the real deal. I know it's early. I know there's going to get film on him, and they're going to get better. And I know their schedule isn't great, but the fact that Houston is sitting where they're at, I never dreamed it. I expected them to be one of the worst teams in the league just because they just don't have enough people. Hey, they're battling. They go out and get wins. They get a big one this week. Yeah, really impressed by the Houston Texans. What about a disappointment, Rob? You got anything there?
Yeah, my disappointment would be Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson getting hurt. Started off the season, showed some flashes. And like I said, always injuries are always unfortunate, but that was disappointing to see him, not being able to finish the season because not that they would have necessarily been a contender, but just exciting rookie to watch.
For sure. And he was really fun to watch in the first couple of weeks. You weren't quite sure what he could do. You hope he's going to learn the lesson that this is not college. This is the NFL. It will be not for long if you try to lower your shoulder on these guys because they are freaks. But hopefully he comes back and he grows. Anybody else have a different surprise in the AFC South? How about a different disappointment in the AFC South? Because I've got one. The Tennessee Titans are terrible.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill has been benched and should be. I don't know what to make of the whole situation there, but it seems like that team and that coach is really hard on quarterbacks. Maybe that's coincidence. Maybe they just don't have the right guy. I don't know. But I thought the Titans would struggle. I thought they'd still be okay. I didn't think they'd be terrible. They're bad. I don't know if I get that one. That's a little bit weird to me. They're usually pretty scrappy. They don't even look all that scrappy this year. Okay, let's move to another kind of confusing division, and that is the NFC South, a division that we widely thought was going to be awful, and they are. But the soft schedule is helping for sure. The best team in the division is the Saints, who are 500. But with this soft division, I don't know. You might get a team or two in. Larry, do you have a surprise in this NFC South?
Yeah, I am surprised that there's one of the better teams isn't, taking advantage of the opportunity here. Yeah. I did think that New Orleans was going to win this division, but there's still a lot of football to be played.
Sure.
And I am surprised at how bad just kind of overall that division is. So, and of course, you have a team with one win. That's a big disappointment. Although I don't know that it's necessarily, we're surprised at how bad they are. I guess I am a little surprised that Atlanta has won the number of games that they've won.
Yeah, because they're not very good.
I did not see that coming.
All right. I'm going to give a mild surprise to Tampa Bay that they're not horrible, because I thought they would be horrible. I thought they'd be like at one win right now with Carolina. They compete. They battle. I mean, Baker Mayfield hasn't completely embarrassed himself yet, so I'll give him, some credit on that. My disappointment would be the New Orleans Saints receivers. What in the world goes on down in the Big Easy? Chris Olave gets arrested. Okay. Michael Thomas hates playing football. Fellas, he got arrested for throwing a brick through a man's windshield. What is happening?
Right? The gardener.
He's just there trying to pick some flowers. What is happening? I don't understand. Maybe it's just the water down there. I don't know, but people down in New Orleans seem to be crazy, and the wide receivers within New Orleans are the craziest. Derek Carr, by the way, on Sunday took a huge hit. I don't know if he knows where he's at right now. We'll see how long that puts him out for. But that does open the door for what could be the greatest thing ever. That's right, kids. Jameis Winston could be the starter. Jameis is the most unintentionally funny person that I know. He's so hilarious. He's talking nonsense. He's all big with these big gestures, and he's completely out of his mind. It's so amazing. I love Jameis. I'm cheering for him to be the starter. Anybody else have a pleasant surprise or bitter disappointment in that NFC South?
Jameis have a disappointment. Why did Atlanta bother drafting Bijan Robinson that early if they're not going to play him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got to ride that kid 20, 22 times a game. What are they doing?
I don't know. It's really weird. He's got to be on the hot seat, doesn't he?
Well, and then last year it was the tight end who I think has yet to catch more than I don't know. That franchise makes no sense.
None.
Like the left hand does not know what the right hand's doing. They draft these supposed incredible future NFL offensive stars and don't use them.
And don't give them the ball. Good call.
That makes no sense.
Makes zero sense. Anybody else got anything in this weird division? It's such an odd, strange division. Okay. We're going to go to the AFC West, which looked like a scrappy division. It still looks like a scrappy division on paper because it doesn't look like it on the field. Right now, the AFC West looks very underachieving across the board. The Chiefs are on top, but they have some flaws. They have some red flags to me about them. The offense is way less explosive. We never trust the defense. I know they're good, really good. We think the Chargers, they just charger every year. Are the Raiders on the rise? I'm not sure. We have no idea what to make of the Denver Broncos. Mike, do you have a surprise for us in the AFC West? It's all yours.
Right now,
Mhm.
I think not that they're 7-2, but I think the surprise might be that the Chiefs' strength might be their defense.
Yeah.
The Chargers, I mean, Staley's got to be on the hot seat, right? The Raiders, McDaniels becomes the first coach in NFL history to be fired before the end of a season twice.
Amazing.
So next year they will be paying for 3 head coaches. Denver Broncos, right? You get 70 hung on you in Miami, and then all of a sudden, and I raised my hand right here. I said, fire Vance Joseph. And has he turned it around?
Maybe.
Yeah.
He may have. You hold Patrick Mahomes not once, twice.
Yep.
I don't know.
So yeah, I mean that you've got one team that's winning in different ways. If you find a way to neutralize Kelsey, you can slow down the Chiefs' offense. Their wide receivers are god awful.
Yeah, they're not very good.
And you can at least make your game competitive or beat them for the first time in 187 tries or whatever it was for the Broncos. Yeah. But you got one team on top and then 3 middling, who knows what teams.
Yeah, you bring up a number of good points. The Raiders are going to be paying John Gruden and Josh McDaniels $80 million to not coach their team next year. And by the way, like you said, they got to go get a third guy. Who knows who they'll get? I have no idea. I'm sure it'll be something crazy. And maybe the current guy, maybe Pierce keeps the job. That's what they should have did, 2-3 years ago when they went and got Gruden. But it's such a weird division. I don't know how much faith to have in the Chiefs. One of these teams could get rolling and be a team to watch down the stretch. But the Chargers just keep doing dumb things. Anybody else have a surprise or a disappointment they'd like to mention in the AFC West?
I am disappointed that the Raiders fired McDaniels. I thought
I am too.
Yeah, we'd like to see him stick around for a few more years, right? But no, I think we saw over the weekend that yes, the Chargers do things that the Chargers can only do, but they played a really good team and they battled. I thought that was the best game of the weekend.
For sure.
And they were right in it, right? So, and they did respond. It wasn't like they, flamed out or anything. So you mentioned, and I think it will be the Chargers that may get hot. I don't know. I think Kansas City will figure things out. Although they do have a wide receiver problem, that does surprise me.
Me too.
They're bringing back guys that were on the team before, right? Because they can't really figure it out. Yeah, and if you can figure out a way to take Kelsey away, then you've got a fighting chance against one of the better teams in the league. But so I'd say that I'm surprised. I'm disappointed in the Chargers, but I'm also a little surprised at where they're at, and maybe that they'll show something over the rest of the season.
You look at them on paper, it just doesn't make any sense why they're not better. Justin Herbert is so talented. He has weapons.
Yeah.
And yet, if you look at him in the fourth quarter, he's not very good. And I don't know if that's Staley. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I do think, and again, I'll edit this. I do think the Broncos show some hope. They're starting to run the ball. They're starting to play some defense.
Based on where we were 4 weeks ago, I'd have lost $1 million on that bet.
that we think, right? Yeah, and the interesting thing is the schedule, right? For the Broncos, the schedule is supposed to be on paper looks pretty tough. They've got the Patriots left on the you know, and the Raiders, I guess. But if the Raiders have found something, you know, that they can latch onto, then they might be better over the rest of the Broncos have a tough schedule over the rest of the year. So I don't know that I put much stock into them, you know, showing.
Rob, you're the only objective one here. We always ask you, what are you seeing when you look at the AFC West?
I think you guys pretty much hit it. I agree with the same. Surprised that the defense for the Chiefs is as good as it is. If they're good, I'm still not fully convinced. Like I don't look at them and say that's a good defense. Yeah. But I mean, seems like they are. Chargers still charging, like you said. And yeah, a little surprised by the Broncos. Seemed like with the coaching hire that it was just going into the season, it was going to be more kind of focused. And I think early on there was still some coaching questions. And it just didn't really all come together. Not that it was going to be immediate improvement, but it just didn't seem stable, you know, from the beginning. And I thought that was a little surprising for me.
I'm going to give you guys my disappointment. And I'm going to be honest. This is one of my biggest disappointments I've had in years. It's not low. It's a huge disappointment. I don't know if you've seen this, but Raiders owner Mark Davis has changed his haircut.
No,
it's no longer the pumpkin pie haircutted looking freak. I don't know if he's kind of trying to feather. I don't know what is going on, but I've never been more disappointed. I loved that he looked like a homeschooled kind of kid. I enjoyed that every single time I saw him. And what is he trying to
bowl over the head and just trim?
Yes,
yes. How old is he?
I don't know. Because mentally or physically.
Well, I'm just saying at his age, and you're going with the brand new hairstyle. Haven't you figured it out by now? And that seems like a gamble. Like,
well, you're right. And it seems like why do you fix it if it ain't broke? Or why do you fix it if it's completely broke, but you've already gone this far with it? So who cares? I don't know. That destroyed me. That was like seeing Miami get rid of the turnover chain. It just broke my soul when I saw him get rid of that haircut because I love everything about it. All right, fellas, we reached the final division in our NFL midseason report, and that is in the NFC West, which is still scrappy, but maybe not quite as overpowering as we thought. I'm not exactly sure what to make of some of these teams. San Francisco might be a Super Bowl contender. They might not do anything. There are times they don't look very good at all. Seattle doesn't look very pretty, but they kind of grind out wins. The Rams, not great. Cardinals, one of the worst teams in the NFL, and yet maybe not as bad, bizarrely, as bad as we thought they were. Rob, NFC West, you got a surprise for us?
My surprise would be the Rams. Didn't think they were going to have a great season. They showed a little life there. I know Stafford got hurt. So they probably, bottoms them back out. But yeah, with the young wide receivers, that offense, I think they put up a fight early on, and that was surprising to me. I thought they had mailed it in.
I would be okay with that. What about a disappointment? Do you have a disappointment in the NFC West?
I'm going to say Seahawks, in particular, Geno Smith. Feels like he took a step down a little bit. I mean, he's still playing okay. But again, definitely has taken a step back from last year. So yeah, a little disappointed by that.
Yeah, I'm going to have this completely reversed. So forgive me in advance because I'm going to make my surprise the Arizona Cardinals. And I know that makes no sense, but I'll say this. They battle every week. Hey, they're not good at football, but they battle every week. And it seems like every week you have to beat them. Now, you beat them, but you have to battle to beat them. They battle. And now they got little Kyler Murray out there, strutting in, walking right under the turnstile because he can't reach the top of it. I mean, they battle. They're not any good, but they work at it. And then my disappointment would be sometimes Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy does. Yeah. San Francisco is loaded.
Yeah.
But you have to do something. We talked about it before the season. Maybe it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. Well, it matters a little bit because we saw him kind of hit a lull this year and he didn't look very good. And as a result, They looked very beatable. Anybody else have a surprise or disappointment in that NFC West?
That definitely surprised Arizona's won 2 games.
Me too.
and not surprised they won this last or who they beat, Atlanta, right?
Atlanta, yeah.
And but they beat Dallas, and
Yes.
I think no one expected them to do that. So definitely surprised about that. Surprised that San Francisco shows signs of weakness when, like you said, they are loaded.
Yeah,
They've got everything they could possibly need or want. And I don't know how they're doing it. You know, they've got smoke and mirrors going. I don't know how they keep collecting all the best players who seem to be available, but they're getting them. And maybe they're just playing a little cat and mouse, right?
Yeah.
Figuring things out before things get serious here for the home stretch. But a little surprised that they've kind of shown those signs of weakness up to now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Fells, I don't think I warned you about this, but I'm gonna throw out for you to give me your pick on a most valuable player, at least so far. And again, we're just halfway through. You kind of got to ballpark that. I guess if I were picking a most valuable player right now, I'd probably go Jalen Hurts with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think when obviously what they do with their running game, he's such a huge part of. And he can move the pile. He's so strong. I know everybody, talks about the tush push or whatever, but he's so strong. You couldn't do that with everyone. You can do it with him. But it's not just that. You saw when he got injured, you saw them kind of take a step back. Hurts is really, really valuable. I would make him, at least right now, I would make him my MVP, but I'll go around and you guys can throw out whatever MVP you want. And maybe it's Josh Dobbs. I don't know. Rob, most valuable player right now at the midway point, who would you be looking at?
I like the Jalen Hurts pick, but I'll give you a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Ravens, they've been rolling. I know we mentioned them before. And they've been in control of most games. I know they've lost a couple, and those are all, they've been up big and let teams, hang around and end up beating them. But seems like he has command of the offense. I feel like each week, he's getting used to the new coordinator and getting a little better. So yeah, I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson at the midpoint.
Fair enough. Mike, you got a most valuable player that you'd throw out there for us right now?
Yeah, I think the leader in the clubhouse, as they say it or whatever, probably is Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna give you a dark horse.
Okay.
Next few weeks, I think CJ Stroud's going to start to get some love for that.
I like it. Can you imagine a rookie?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I could see that. All right. I like that. I like that call. Larry, what do you got? Most valuable player, at least right now.
I'm going to go with the guy who should probably get it. The Jared Goff, right?
That's not a bad pick. I like that pick. I mean, hey, the Lions are no joke, man. I keep doubting him, but yeah.
He's not flashy, but he looks like a legit quarterback leading a first place division team,
Larry, you bring up an interesting point because I'm watching that Lions game on Sunday against the Chargers. And on that last maybe 2 drives, I'm watching Jared Goff specifically, and I'm going, hey, you have to make a play. And every time he made the play, not always flashy, maybe it was a check down, but he made the right play, got it to the right guy that made the play to move the chains. Yeah, Jared Goff might have to get a few votes, and I don't know that any of us would have expected that.
No.
Shoot, the Rams didn't want him. And yet here he is, and he's leading the Detroit Lions somewhere.
Right.
It just makes my brain explode. Okay. We went back in August, maybe late August, early September, and we made our predictions for who's going to make the playoffs, who is going to make the championship games, who is going to go to and then win the Super Bowl. Well, now we're at the midway point, and we know we probably crushed most every pick that we made, but some we might just want to adjust slightly. I'm just going to slide you to here, but nothing major. But if we have some major changes, if you want to do a little revision right now would be the time for it. I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes. I'm going to go over a couple of my picks. If you don't have all your picks right in front of you, that's fine. But when we started, I picked in the AFC. I was Chargers, Bills, Jags, Bengals, Chiefs, Ravens, Jets. I'm going to tweak that a little bit. Right now, I put the Chiefs at the 1, the Ravens at the 2, and primarily that's because the Chiefs get to play an easier division. I put Dolphins at 3, Jags, Bengals. I guess the Bills and the Browns can scrape in. I don't know. But if anybody has any major changes they want to make to their AFC side right now, now would be the time to do it. I will start things off with Rob. Rob, what do you got? Do you have any AFC changes you'd like to make? And if you don't have them broke down exactly, that's fine. But do you have any major changes you'd like to make to your AFC?
Yeah, I've got 2
Okay.
that I want to replace. When we started, I had Chargers and Steelers.
Yep.
And I want to drop them out. I want to bring in the Dolphins. I think are going to sneak in, and I'm replacing the Steelers with the Browns.
Okay. Wow, we're about the same on those picks. Mike, you're up next. If you have anybody you'd like to move in or out, now is the time to do it. Revisionist history, as we say. What do you got in the AFC, Mike?
Well, strictly because of injury, I'm going to flip-flop the Jets and the Dolphins.
Okay. If Aaron Rodgers were there, we might be having a completely different conversation about the AFC in general. But continue.
100%. I think they'd be a top 3 seed right now. Is my guess on that defense. The AFC North is so muddled right now. I'm gonna leave where I was, which is Cincy and Baltimore. But my goodness, the other 2 teams, Cleveland's defense is something
really good.
Who knows what if Watson can stay consistent, but I don't know. I would love, I don't think it's going to happen. I would love, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of the comeback story. I'd love to see Houston sneak in.
I would too.
I just don't think they're going to do it. Just don't think they're going to do it. I think flip-flopping those 2 in the East is where I'm going to go.
Okay, fair enough. Larry, AFC, sorry. Who would you like to move around in your AFC playoff predictions?
I didn't have Miami in my playoff prediction.
Okay.
I had 3 teams coming out of the AFC West. I'm taking one of those out.
Okay.
And replacing them with Miami, but I'm going to keep the rest in there. I'm going to KC, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Buffalo. I'm going to keep the Chargers in there and Cincinnati.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Let's move over to the NFC, where I had Cowboys, Niners, Saints, Vikings, Eagles, Seahawks, Falcons. I'm going to move the Eagles up and then the Niners. I have the Lions in. I'm moving them in. I'm keeping the Saints. I'm keeping the Seahawks. Cowboys have slid down, but I have them in. And then I'm going to say the Vikings somehow scrape their way in. So I guess I'm making 2 changes there, moving some things around. Rob, NFC, got anything you want to move around?
Yeah, just one change I need to make. I had the Falcons in as a wild card. I'm taking them out. I had left the Lions out. I had the Vikings winning the division. So I got the Lions winning the division now, but the Vikings still get in as a wild card. So just flipping Falcons for Detroit.
Yep. All right, Mike, NFC, got any massive changes you'd like to make?
Massive? No, I think the 7 that I've got, I'm staying with. I'm just rearranging the order.
Moving some order,
flip-flopping Detroit and Minnesota.
Okay.
Detroit wins the division and Minnesota's a wild card versus the opposite that I had. So
fair enough.
I feel good about my NFC picks.
Yeah, for sure. Isn't it? It still is crazy to me that Kirk Cousins is done this year, probably done going forward.
As a Viking, yeah.
As a Viking. And the Vikings are probably feeling pretty good. I mean, you've got Josh Dobbs and you're like, no, we can battle. We're fine. That's kind of bizarre. All right, Larry, NFC, what do you have? What would you like to move?
Just one change. I had Green Bay in, making it in as a wild card. I'm taking them out and replacing them with Seattle.
Okay, fair enough. Seattle moves in.
Philly, Dallas, Detroit, Minnesota, New Orleans, San Fran, and then Seattle joins the group.
Okay. Now we're getting a little more serious because we're going to kind of fast forward through these playoffs. and we're going to get to the championship games. In my fall preview, I had the Chiefs at Buffalo for my AFC championship game. I'm going to bump that. I'm going to change that to Ravens at Chiefs. So I'm going to bump out the Bills. I'm going to sub in the Ravens, but I think the game will be played in KC because, like I said, I think that division is a little softer. I think that makes it easier for the Chiefs. AFC championship game. Rob, what do you have?
Keeping it the same. I had Ravens and Chiefs, and
Okay.
I still feel good about that. So I'm gonna ride with that.
Okay. I don't want your pick yet, so we're going to go Ravens and Chiefs. And we will move forward. Mike, AFC champ game. Who do you have?
Well, this is going to be 3 in a row, which means it's guaranteed that it's not going to happen. I have the exact same game.
Ravens, Chiefs.
Yeah, I had the Bengals in there.
You had Bengals. Yeah,
I did have the Bengals. I'm going to switch it to the Ravens.
Okay.
At Kansas City.
Yep. All right. Larry, I know you had Cincinnati, but what would you like to do with your AFC championship game now?
Nothing. I'm
You're riding it out.
Scare off as easy as you guys do.
All right.
I'm not changing a thing.
I like it. Who did you have playing Cincy?
Chiefs.
Okay, so KC and Cincinnati in the AFC championship game. In the NFC title game, I had Niners going to Dallas. I'm not going to stick with that. I'm going to change that to Eagles. So I'm going to go Niners at Philly for the NFC title. We will go with that. Rob, NFC championship game, what do you have?
Before, I think I had Eagles and I had either Seahawks or 49ers. I can't remember.
Yes. You had Niners, I believe.
Niners. Okay. Which I'm staying the same.
Okay.
Eagles and 49ers. I had the same 49ers or Seahawks. I keep going back and forth on. But I'm going to say, yeah, Eagles, 49ers.
Okay. Mike, NFC championship, who's it going to be?
Well, boring yawn. Niners, Eagles. So that's before, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. All right, Larry.
Same.
You're going Niners, Eagles as well.
Sticking with it.
Okay.
I've changed everything else, so I'm going to just stay with what I can on some of these.
I understand. Hey, Rob and I did our college football midseason report last week, and there were a couple of picks that we were like, I don't believe it anymore, but I don't care. I'm sticking with it because then if I'm right, I have those bragging rights. If I'm wrong, then I look like so I'm not going to do that. Okay. In the Super Bowl, I originally had Niners versus Bills with the Bills winning. I am changing that. I'm going to change it to Chiefs versus Niners with the Niners winning the game. I believe San Francisco will somehow overcome Brock Purdy not being that great, and they will somehow scrape past Philly. They will somehow scrape past the Chiefs. I'm going to go San Francisco 49ers winning Super Bowl 58. All right, Rob, you are up. Now, before we go, Rob had Philly over Baltimore back in the fall. Any changes? What are you going with Super Bowl 58?
Keeping it the same. Eagles
Philly over Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well done. Way to stick with it. Mike, you had Philly over Cincinnati. Any changes there because Cincinnati didn't make it?
Yeah. Boy, this is a tough one. That AFC Championship game is what I think is going to be a tough one. I'm going to do the same thing. Philly over Baltimore. I just think I'm sticking with my winner still, but I think I'm going to change the AFC participant.
Okay. We finish up with Larry. Larry, you had Cincinnati over San Francisco back in the fall. What are we going to have? Super Bowl 58.
Cincy over San Francisco. I mean, what?
All right. They're going to get on a roll.
I'm sticking with it. No reason not to. I'm not going to get all panicky here like you guys. So stay with it.
I've been clutching my pearls for weeks. All right. Well, we have a couple of tweaks there. We have a couple of changes there. But hey, again, this has been a fun season. I do think there are some some things coming that we won't expect. You know, we've been doing these midseason reports now for a few years, and it seems like at midseason we figured things out. So many things are going to go upside down on us. So many things are going to change on us. We know for a fact that it will not go exactly the way that we think it's going to. But right now, it looks very cut and dried. Never fear. Because when we get to the playoffs, we're going to come back and we're going to revisit these things. And we're going to look at all the amazing predictions that we made were correct, as we usually do. All right, Mike, we're going to wrap this up here. It's been a good time. We always enjoy everyone's visits here, but we want to finish up the season. We have some things still to look forward to as Bronco fans. The Nuggets are rolling. The Avs are also playing, but we have a lot of things that we can be excited about here in the Mile High City. Mike, you have any final thoughts for us as we finish up our NFL midseason report?
No, just the usual, right? I mean, like you said, the fact that it's half over is a little bit sad, right?
Yeah,
I think we're all kind of in agreement that we love our local sports, but football is king. So
Sure.
it's the season is half over, but the playoffs still go for a while, right? So we're going until February, so that's a good thing. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see how things play out. As Bronco fans, you know, have we turned the corner? You know, or did the win against the Chiefs just screw us out of a top 3 pick? I don't know. So we'll see. It's always fun to see how things play out, because you're right. There's always going to be unexpected results.
Yes, for sure. Rob, you are rolling. You've got your Eagles just rolling right along. You're picking them to win the whole thing. Everything is coming up Philly right now. Got any final thoughts for us as we head into the second half of the season?
No, it's been a pleasure. Obviously looking forward to the playoffs when we get there. But yeah, it's been a great season so far. Exciting. And, you know, like we talked about, I don't even think there's really a clear-cut favorite right now. You know, it's a lot of teams in there, a lot of football left, and just looking forward to it.
Yep. Should be a very, very fun second half. Larry, the wily veteran, you have so many things happening. You have DU hockey. You've got, you know, the Broncos. You've got the Nuggets. It's starting to snow in the high country. It's all coming up Larry right now is basically what I'm saying. Larry, do you have any final thoughts for us as we head into the second half of the season?
I do, Clint.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
But the first one is, I'm just glad you didn't ask us all what our favorite Taylor Swift song was.
Right. Because, well, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, I mean, I can guess, you know, I can pick trivia questions out, but you know, her catalog is so huge. How could you pick one?
Vast. It is vast.
There you go.
But I do have a pet peeve. And,
all right.
And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but we seem to be reinventing some things here. And I just want to not reinvent things and give them a fresh new name.
Okay.
Didn't the tush push? Isn't that the quarterback sneak?
Yeah.
Or but now it's something different. But it's new, right? It's new. It's got a new name. A chunk play, like we hear about it. Like, isn't that just a big play?
Yeah.
Like
I
don't understand why in that. But now we have to use these terms. I don't need new terms. I just need the old things. So
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why, Larry. And, I'm not splitting atoms or anything here. It's because the younger generation is full of morons and they've never heard terms. So they have no idea what they're talking about. So sometimes they'll look at this current generation and they'll be like, dude, Zach Wilson is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. Everything that came, you old boomers, you don't. Okay.
He's got a fresh haircut.
Got a super cool haircut.
Yeah.
Be careful with your mom around him. I will say that. But yes, that is why they get renamed, because the youngsters have no idea. And of course, and I hate to be old men, get off my lawn, but they have never heard these terms before. So they have no familiarity with them whatsoever. So they think they came up with something new and we coddle them and go, oh yeah, it's brand new.
Because I sit around watching TV half the time thinking I'm missing something. Like, what is this newfangled new thing happening? And but it turns out it's nothing, right?
So, remember, there's nothing new under the sun.
Just had to kind of get that off my chest.
I understand completely, but any other final thoughts? I know you've had a long off season from the slopes.
Yeah,
Anything else?
Got to get the appointment made to get the snow tires put on, and then stuff gets real, Clint.
Is that when it happens?
Yeah, so
that's when it all goes downhill for us.
Yeah.
Phil, it's almost Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming very, very quickly. I know that my kids have 1 week left of college, and then they come back home. My goodness, this year is just going so fast. And I haven't looked. I'm stupid, and I can cut this out, but I don't even know what the Thanksgiving games are this year. Are they worth watching?
That's a good question.
I don't remember, because I know we're going to get Detroit, which actually should be entertaining. We're going to get Dallas, which isn't horrible for a change.
Yeah, you're right.
That's would have thought, though,
a good point.
Yeah, because we're so used to Thanksgiving's awful with football, but I don't know. I've really reached a point in my life where Thanksgiving to me might become my favorite holiday. It's just food and football. Like, what is there to complain about?
Nothing.
Right. No, it's all gravy. There's no, I got to go buy presents. There's no, I got to go buy a $10 card and $90 flowers for Valentine's. None of that.
It's just cooking and eating.
Yes. Eat and sit in front of the TV and watch football.
It's Come on. Green Bay and Detroit.
Ooh, they managed to drain a little out. But that's not bad.
Washington, Dallas, and San Fran, Seattle.
Also not bad.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking forward to
followed up on Friday.
Oh, yeah, we do have a Friday game.
Miami and the Jets.
Yeah. The Jets aren't very good. Maybe Aaron will be back by then. All right. Well, hey, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. We always enjoy your visits. We will need to do this when the regular season is finishing up, and we check in on the playoffs, make some predictions for the playoffs, check in on everything that we got right, and so many things. No, just everything we got right. We won't talk about the other side of it. We'll look and see if Taylor Swift is writing a song about Travis Kelce about how much she hates his guts by then. But I want to say thank you so much to each of you for coming by the dose. We always appreciate your visits. Nothing. That's it.
we were all waiting for the other one to say peace out, Clint.